High up in the sprawling branches of a mighty oak tree, nestled in a cozy dray, lived a fluffy red squirrel named Nutty. He wasn't just any squirrel. He was known for his adventurous spirit, a tiny green cap perched jauntily on his head, and a pair of goggles that spoke of his many escapades. One bright, sunny morning, Nutty was perched at the edge of his nest, munching on a particularly delicious acorn and surveying his backyard kingdom. The birds were singing, the leaves were rustling, and everything seemed perfect. His sharp eyes scanned the ground below, taking in all the daily happenings of the garden. He saw the ants marching in a line, the bees buzzing from flower to flower, and then he spotted something new. Tucked away near the roots of a large rose bush was a small, soft indentation in the grass. It was a rabbit's nest, and peeking out from the bundle of fur and grass were several tiny, twitching noses. Newborn baby rabbits. Nutty's heart melted. They were so small, so helpless, just little bundles of fluff enjoying the morning sun. He smiled, feeling a sense of warmth watching over the peaceful scene. Suddenly, a sharp, loud bark shattered the morning calm. Nutty's ears twitched, and he swiveled his head towards the source of the sound. The back door of the big human house creaked open, and a person stepped out, followed by two boisterous dogs. One was a big, goofy golden retriever, and the other a smaller, scruffy terrier with an endless supply of energy. Nutty knew these dogs. They were usually harmless, chasing butterflies and their own tails, but today something was different. Their noses were down, sniffing the air with intense focus. They had caught a scent. The baby rabbit's scent. A wave of panic washed over Nutty. The dogs were trotting directly towards the rose bush, their tails wagging with excitement. Oh no! Nutty chirped, his voice a squeaky whisper of alarm. I must save them! The dogs were getting closer with every second, their sniffing growing more frantic. The baby rabbits were completely unaware of the approaching danger, sleeping soundly in their nest. Nutty's mind raced. He had to do something, and fast. He looked around his nest and saw his precious stash of acorns. An idea sparked. Without a second thought, Nutty grabbed a pawful of acorns. Taking careful aim, he started pelting them down towards the dogs. One acorn bounced off the golden retriever's head, making him yelp in surprise and look up. The terrier, distracted by the sudden rain of nuts, started chasing them as they rolled across the lawn. It worked. For a moment, the dogs were distracted, but their instincts were strong. After a brief chase, the terrier remembered the intriguing smell and rejoined the golden retriever. Their noses once again pointed firmly toward the helpless bunnies. The momentary diversion was over. Nutty wrung his paws in frustration. His first plan hadn't been enough. He needed something bigger, something bolder. He paced back and forth on his branch, his little brain working furiously. Then, a classic light bulb moment. An imaginary light bulb popped into existence right above his green cap. A fluffy white cloud appeared next to it, playing out a scene from his imagination. In the cloud, a heroic Nutty, goggles down, swung dramatically from a long vine. He landed right in front of the nest just as the dogs arrived, stood on his hind legs, and let out a series of ferocious squeaks and intimidating chitters. In his daydream, the dogs, terrified by this tiny, furious warrior, tucked their tails between their legs and ran away yelping. Perfect, Nutty thought. That's it. He found a long, dangling piece of ivy, grabbed onto it, took a deep breath, and launched himself into the air. He swung down, just like in his vision, landing with a soft thud right between the dogs and the nest. He puffed out his chest, put his paws on his hips, and let out the most fearsome squeak he could muster. Squeak, chatter, squeak, he yelled. The dogs just stopped and stared. They tilted their heads, looking at this tiny, shouting creature with sheer confusion. Not fear. The golden retriever even let out a playful woof, as if inviting Nutty to play. The heroic plan was a total flop. Now Nutty was scared. He was standing right in front of the dogs, who were now just inches from the baby rabbits. His bravery was failing him, and his heart hammered against his ribs. He was out of clever ideas. He glanced around frantically, and his eyes landed on the acorn scattered on the ground from his first attempt. Desperation took over. He wasn't going to give up. He quickly gathered a few of the fallen acorns. This time, there would be no warning shots. This was for the bunnies. With a surge of adrenaline, Nutty took aim with the precision of a seasoned sharpshooter. He hurled the first acorn with all his might, and ****. It hit the golden retriever right in the eye. The big dog yelped in pain and surprise, shaking its head and backing away. Nutty didn't hesitate. He grabbed another acorn and flung it at the terrier. Another perfect shot. The small dog squealed and pawed at its face. Startled, confused, and with sore eyes, the two dogs decided this strange, smelly creature wasn't worth the trouble. They turned and trotted back toward the house, whining as they went through the back door. Silence returned to the garden. Nutty stood there, breathing heavily, his tiny chest heaving. He had done it. He had actually done it. He turned and looked at the nest. The baby rabbits were still sleeping, completely unharmed. A wave of relief and pride washed over him. As he stood guard, a gentle rustling came from the bushes. A larger rabbit, the mother, hopped cautiously into the clearing. She saw Nutty standing over her nest, and her eyes widened, first with fear, then with understanding as she saw the coast was clear. She approached slowly, her nose twitching. She looked from Nutty to her sleeping babies and then back to Nutty. "Thank you," she said, her voice soft and grateful. "Thank you, Nutty. You saved my babies. You are a true hero." Nutty felt his chest puff out even further. He dipped his head in a modest nod. Hearing those words made it all worth it. The mother rabbit nuzzled her babies gently, reassured that they were safe. Later that day, the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the yard. Nutty was back on his favorite branch, next to his nest. He looked down at the rabbit nest, where the mother was now cuddled up with her little ones. He adjusted his green cap, a proud smile on his face. The adventure was over, and his friends were safe. He looked out at the horizon, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. Nutty will always be there for those who need help, he declared to the world, his small voice full of courage. And in the quiet twilight of the backyard, a tiny hero stood watch. Thank you for watching this little adventure. If you enjoyed Nutty's story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales from the backyard. See you next time.